This is rock and roll.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of This is Rock and Roll. My name's Dennis Dion Nardone, and tonight's show it's about peace, love, and music. And it's all about the 50th anniversary of Woodstock and all that great music. My guest tonight is Mr. Al Balfieri, one of the producers of This is Rock and Roll. Al, welcome.
Thank you,
Good to
Dennis.
see you.
Pleasure to be
and
here.
we're going to go back 50 years. Talk about
50
Woodstock
years.
because you were there.
Yes, I was.
And we're going to talk about all your experiences. We're going to talk about the music. We have some, what do you call this, memorabilia about Woodstock. We got some posters. So we're going to have a great time tonight talking about 50 years ago of peace, love, and music. Now, how old were you at the time?
I was 19 years old.
19 years old. Hey, I'll tell you what, before we go to Woodstock, let's talk about Mark Jonai, New York
Yes.
City Councilman. He's got some great concerts coming up.
Yes.
And the Just Nuts Band?
Yes, Mark Jonai and the Riverview Corporation and the council, I can't remember. But they're sponsoring this series of concerts in the Bronx this year, and Just Nuts is on one of them. We
The
will be
27th?
on Tuesday
Waterbury,
night.
is that it?
That's correct. Buffalo Park or Waterbury Park. It's Waterbury and LaSalle Avenue in the Bronx.
Okay,
We will
that's
be
on
there.
27th of August.
Yeah,
Just
about
Nuts
8
Band.
o'clock,
And then we
8
got Pepe Alive and Kicking on the 29th, City Island, correct?
Ambrosini Field in City Island, yes.
Okay.
At 8 o'clock start.
And, okay, so Mark Jonai, New York City Councilman, sponsoring the concerts along with, who was the other one?
The Riverview Corporation.
Okay, great. So we look forward to that. Come join us, Just Nuts Band, and that's Waterbury Park, and that's going to be on August 27th. Then go see Alive and Kick in City Island on the 29th. All right, let's get back to Woodstock. Al.
Yes.
All right, now, you were 20 years old, you said?
I was 19.
19 years old. I had just turned 18.
You're a little
And
younger than me,
I
yeah.
tell you, at that time, I didn't know what the magnitude of and the big deal was about Woodstock. I heard there was a festival. I'm 18 years old. I just turned 18. Big change. Graduated high school. I heard about the festival, but it didn't
I don't
click
think
that it was going to be the
anybody-
magnitude if it was. And I don't think a lot of people other.
Nobody knew that it was going to be as big as
and,
it was at the time.
I ended up going to Atlantic City. They had a little festival down there.
Okay.
And I ended up going down there. But anyway, getting back to Woodstock now, what you knew that it was going to be not 500,000 people, but a large concert.
I think there was going to be we expected a large amount of people. I mean, I think they sold maybe at that time, maybe up to 100,000 tickets. And we had gotten the tickets in advance, so we were all ready to go. And I was polishing my motorcycle and
So you went up like the
raring to
movie
go.
Easy Rider.
Yeah, with a bunch of motorcycles, we went up there and we slid through the traffic. And we actually stayed at a motel about a couple of miles away.
Oh,
but
you
we
were one of the lucky
couldn't-
ones.
Yeah, but we couldn't go back. Once we were there at the site, we couldn't go back because it was just too crowded. It was you couldn't make your way. Certainly couldn't ride a motorcycle anywhere.
Really? And you think the motorcycle would have been maneuvering through the crazy traffic?
There's no way. It was so
All right,
many
so here
people.
you are in Woodstock. Tell me some bands you remember. First of all, let's go over the list. We'll show our first little memorabilia here. And you can go over the list
Sure.
of the bands that were there.
This one on the Friday, I don't. I remember seeing Sly and the Family Stone, and this band called Sweetwater. The other artists probably were there before we arrived. On Saturday, I seen most of this show was Canned Heat, Creedence Clearwater, Grateful Dead. I seen them all.
Oh.
Janis Joplin, Jefferson Airplane, Santana,
Now,
The
did
Who.
you get a good view of the stage? Because there were people at Woodstock, they didn't even hear the music. They were so far back.
No, we were quite far back, but if you wanted to go up front, you actually had to take a blanket or a towel to sit on something to get up closer to the stage. And we did that the whole day.
Okay. And,
That Sunday, yeah, we seen the band and Jeff Beck and Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
now, how long
the
did it
whole
go
list.
into the night? Joan Baez,
Oh.
when you see the movie, she's singing at night.
Joan Baez, yeah, but I remember Janis Joplin singing way into the wee hours of the morning.
Really?
Yeah, that I remember. And I even remember at the time, I says, I got to get some rest because they're going to go through this again tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, Woodstock basically was a disaster because, like you said, they sold maybe 100,000 tickets, and all these other people showed up, and they said they lost money. They gained some money back when they started selling the albums, the records, posters, and memorabilia
And
that way.
everything else,
But
yeah.
it turned out to be a mess. And I got some facts I'll go over here about Woodstock, but they said it was a disaster. People died.
It was a financial disaster, yeah.
People died. Toiletries and cleanliness, all that stuff became
all
a
that
big
stuff
mess.
was
Food and things
very
of that nature.
rationed,
That
yeah.
I'll go over.
Yeah,
But,
water.
Yeah.
And it had rained. It was
But otherwise,
a
it
weather
became
nightmare.
a big symbol, iconic festival
Yeah, sure.
of all time.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people hear about it and think about it. They don't think about the mess and the
That-
disaster part about it.
Looking back at it, yes.
Yeah. But you look at the movie, it's just great stuff. And so, who do you remember the most of playing?
Oh,
what
boy.
band? You said Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin,
Now,
I
we're going to
remember.
be honest. Most of these entertainers weren't exactly in their right mind. Some of them had indulged in a little.
And not only that, most of those entertainers were on the they were up and coming.
Yeah.
They weren't not major superstars at that time. Jimi Hendrix and
Well, even Crosby, Stills, and Nash came
Even
out of that.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
When they did Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, their group blew up.
yeah,
into something
yeah.
big.
They did Woodstock, the song Woodstock.
Did you see Sha Na Na? Now, here's a group doing 50s music.
and somehow they got on that billing.
Yeah.
But those groups were not paid a lot of money. That's why I don't understand where all the money went.
Yeah.
Because it certainly didn't go to the groups.
Yeah.
At that time, they were making at best a couple of $1,000s each.
Yeah.
Not much money.
Okay, why don't we go to our first video and show the people a little bit about what it was there with the entertainers. And let's go to Woodstock, 50 years ago up there in Bethel, New York. Let's go to the monitor.
Well, I came upon a child of God. He was walking along the road, and I asked him, "Tell me, where are you going?" He told me. Said, "I'm going down to Yasgur's farm, gonna join in a rock and roll band. Got to get back to the land," said my soul free. We are stardust, we are dust, we are billion on carbon, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden. Where they cannot walk beside you, I have come to lose the small. we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. By the time we got to Woodstock, we were having a storm. And everywhere was a shout and a celebration. And I dreamed I saw the burning death flames riding shotgun in the sky, turning into butterflies above our nation. We are stars, we are dead, we are caught in the devil's garden, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden.
Okay, we are back, and good evening once again. My name is Dennis Dion Nardone, and tonight's show, it's about peace, love, and music. We're going back 50 years, the anniversary of Woodstock, and I'm here with Al Balfieri, one of the producers of This Is Rock and Roll, and he was there live in person, and we're talking about Woodstock. He went up there on his motorcycle and saw some of the great groups of all time. Al, I'm going to throw some facts at you.
Okay, shoot.
And, see if you remember some of this. And according to the New York State Police, out of the hundreds and thousands of people who attended Woodstock, only 109 were arrested at the festival, all but 4 for drugs. But no instance of violence came to the attention of the troopers. Troopers booked 270 people who were either on their way to Bethel or returning home on 408 charges of confiscated drugs. According to the New York State Health, 2 companies provided 650 individual toilet seats and 200 urinal spaces. Did you use one of those, by the way?
Of course I did.
Okay, the number was planned to serve 60,000 people, not 500,000. Servicing was difficult due to the crowd, stalled cars, and the mud, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
There were long lines at some of the toilet sites. Were you on that line?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure I was.
However, the spirit of helpfulness and sharing allowed maximum use, not to mention the lack of inhibition on the part of Aquarius generation, meaning, you know, you got a little nude. Did you get nude in the water?
Well, there are some things I won't say on this show.
Oh, okay,
Dennis.
all right. Now, according to the documents, all right, they said they had projected 50,000 people a day at Woodstock. Bread, 30,000 loaves. Marshmallows. Did you get a marshmallow? Did you
I don't remember getting
10,000 packages.
And I probably
peanut
wouldn't have
butter,
taken it anyway.
1,500 pounds. Napkins. Did you get the napkins to wipe?
I don't remember getting a napkin.
600,000. Milk, 20,000 gallons. Cheese, 5,000. Coffee, 2,000. Ice, 450,000 pounds. And utensils to eat with, 900 pieces. And
I
of
didn't
course,
get any of that
not
stuff.
enough. And you
No.
didn't see any of that,
No.
of course. I got some original tickets. Why don't you hold this up?
Wow,
there?
look at this.
That, huh? The original
Original
tickets.
Woodstock tickets, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it was $24 for a 3-day event.
Wow, wow, wow.
August 15th, 16th, and 17th, 1969. That's quite a...
Yes. And of
Quite a
course, we got
plaque.
the poster, the one who designed the little dove there.
Okay,
on the-
yeah, the piece, the guitar, and the fingers playing on guitar.
Yeah.
I think this was a Pete, if I'm not mistaken, this might have been, what was his name? Peter Max, the
Really?
artist, might have designed this.
Wow.
3 days of peace, love, and music.
Yeah. Well, good old time and great memory for you, of course, and
Yes.
all of us that came through those years back then. And what a great time, because you just celebrated landing on the moon in 1969
Yes, that is
at
correct.
that time. Some
Country
great
was in a
historic
great
events
feel.
back
Great.
around 1969 in the middle of the summer. All right, so
Vietnam War was raging too.
yes, and of course there was a lot of protests and a lot
Yes,
of.
that's correct.
The music had always a symbol too, but then the music was great then. I mean, we all
I
shared
think
it.
it brought
and,
everybody together.
Yes, and Anyway, so you know what we'll do? Let's go to another video.
Okay.
Show of Woodstock back in 50 years ago, 1969, and let's go to the monitor. Let's take you back to Woodstock, 1969. Dawn, this is Rock and Roll, and once again, this show is about peace, love, and music. Talking about Woodstock 50 years ago, the anniversary, and sharing the show with me today is Al Balfury. And Al, I think when you think of Woodstock, you think of Jimi Hendrix. And you think of Jimi Hendrix doing the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah,
And
it was
that
a great,
came out of
great
nowhere.
time. Yeah.
And just blew 500,000 people out of their seats.
Yeah.
The mud and everywhere else when he started to play.
It was amazing.
Electrified on the guitar.
It was amazing.
Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
And did you get to hear any of that?
Yes, I did. Yes,
did.
I wouldn't say I was close, but certainly close enough to hear it and to experience that. The great guitar playing of Jimi Hendrix
that's
is just
amazing. Now, kicking off
amazing,
Woodstock,
amazing person.
Richie Havens.
Richie
When
Havens.
he got up there and he started strumming,
Yeah.
people just went nuts.
Yes, that's right.
And of course, I wasn't there, I'm going by the movie and what I read
Yeah,
and what I see.
yeah.
And then Country Joe and the Fish.
Country Joe and the Fish and Canned Heat.
Going
Put
back
on
to
great,
country. Yeah,
great
and,
performances.
Country
and
Joe and the Fish. when
one of
the,
my favorites was Creedence Clearwater Revival with John Fogerty.
Yes. And John Sebastian.
John Sebastian, that's another
If
name.
you look at him closely,
The
now,
Lovin'
you don't even have to
Spoonful.
look closely when you see him on the movie, and you can see that he was.
Wasted?
Yeah, I wasted. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. And but he did
Hey,
a
it was
great
a long
job.
time
I mean,
ago.
and it's all part of what it was back in
Yeah,
Woodstock in
yeah,
1969. But getting back to Country Joe and the Fish, the
Country
crowd
Joe
went
and the
nuts when he
Fish.
was doing his
Yeah.
his little song. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you go to the movie, you'll see what how he did it.
Yeah.
And but that was great. Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin.
That was the emergence of her. And
She was great. She played throughout the night till maybe the wee hours of the morning. 4:30. She quit, I think, and then crowd kind of broke up. We went our separate ways, and we got up the next morning and did the same thing all over again. So
now, did you see that section of Woodstock when they had the plaque up there and it said, what was that plaque where you go to all? they had the-
Maxiasm.
No,
that
they
plaque,
had the all the vendors, the food. If you
Yes.
wanted to buy souvenirs.
Yes.
And it led you to the lake where everybody was kind of bathing. And then they finally told everybody to get out because they were using that as drinking water. Right. People were washing, going in there naked and stuff. But then they asked everybody to get out.
Well, that was in another section.
Groovy
of,
Way, wasn't it Groovy Way?
Yeah, something like that.
They had a big
Yeah,
sign
I
that
don't
said
really
Groovy
remember
Way.
that, but hey, that's
Yeah.
50 years ago.
But that,
I'm doing the best
but
I
that
can.
was like way in the back. And then they had another stage way in the back they were playing music, and they were like off. They weren't the stars.
They were lesser bands. That is
yeah.
true. Yeah.
Now you talk about 1969. Besides of well, I'm going to take you back to 1965.
Oh boy.
You told me
Okay.
you were there too, right?
That is correct.
I got a poster here signed by Sid Bernstein.
Wow.
You know who he is, right?
Yes, I do. He was
Tell
the
people who
Beatles.
Sid Bernstein
He
is.
was the Beatles promoter, Sid Bernstein. He was an older gentleman. He lived, in fact, in the building where John Lennon was shot. He lived in the Dakota building.
Yes. And that's a concert at Shea Stadium,
Yes.
1965.
Yes, I was there too. I was just a young kid. I was
Okay.
maybe
Now we have another
15.
poster here, and this is the Beatles' last concert. Candlestick Park, New York Giants,
bring it down
I
a
mean the
little
San
bit.
Francisco Giants
Something like this.
baseball stadium, which is no longer there.
Right.
Candlestick Park, and that is their last concert in
The last concert.
1966.
Wow.
So when we do a Beatles show, we're going to do more of the memorabilia. And of course, now the Beatles weren't there at Woodstock, I'm talking
No,
about.
the Beatles were not there. There was a lot of groups that weren't there, but there was a lot of groups that were there.
And did you see The Who?
I seen the Who, yes.
And
Put on a great show.
of course,
John Fogerty, as I mentioned, Creedence Clearwater
Yeah.
Revival, and like you said, Joan Baez. A lot of the groups, Canned Heat, put on a great show.
yeah. And so we're talking about Woodstock 50 years ago, the anniversary. And then how did it end? I mean, do you left on a Sunday or a Saturday?
I think we stayed till Sunday. We probably left Sunday in the afternoon sometime. We thought we were gonna. The idea was to beat the traffic.
Yeah.
But there was so many. They actually closed.
There was cars all over the place.
They made both sides of the New York State Thruway going southbound. So I do there's 6 lanes, 3 lanes in each direction, but one direction they made everything go in one direction south.
Yeah. Now, were you part of that chant when it started to rain, and then thousands of people yelling, "No rain, no rain"?
I don't
You
remember
were-
that.
You
To
don't
tell you the
remember
truth.
that? Okay. What do you remember?
That
besides
would
the
be more
music?
like it. The things that I do remember.
Now they did some crazy things, like the stage. There were people climbing up the
Yeah,
steps.
yeah.
And they were making all those announcements. Please get off the stage.
People were climbing on the speaker systems.
Yeah.
They were like 30 feet high.
Yeah.
They were
And
climbing up there, and the cops had to go out and get them.
did,
That's
so-
probably maybe where some of those arrests came from.
yeah, probably. And
Because I literally seen no violence at all. That was 3 days where not a single person got into a fight.
it was truly all about.
It was really
peace and
all
love
about peace and love.
music.
And nobody gave anybody else a hard time. And believe me, there was plenty of people
Now,
there.
did you see a lot of love going on in there, by the way?
I didn't see a lot, but I heard a lot. Let's put it that
Okay,
way.
whatever that means. But anyway, Woodstock, 50 years ago, the anniversary. And Al Balfieri was there live and in color. He drove up on his motorcycle, just like that movie, Easy Rider.
Rider.
And now you got a little dirty.
There's
a lot of mud up there.
Yeah, well, I had spent the day before we left
You
cleaning
didn't bring
the
any change
bike.
of clothes, did you? You had a little
Well, yeah, we
knapsack?
had I had a sleeping bag, and somebody
Oh,
brought a
okay.
tent, and so we made do with what we had, but it was not a comfortable
Now, what about,
situation.
did you eat? I mean, did you bring food? Did you try to buy food?
We probably
water?
ate the first day. After that, it was iffy at best. Maybe a hot dog here and there, but that was
Now,
about it.
people brought their babies. They brought their pets.
Yeah.
Did you see all that, too?
Yeah.
I mean, again...
And we even had like I was telling you before, we had a hotel room. We,
Right.
of course, never made it back to the. We left the hotel room on Friday afternoon and never got back there because it was a couple of miles away, but you just couldn't get through. There was no motorcycle riding anywhere on the grounds because there was 500,000 people.
Now, how many guys did you go with?
So it was about 11 or 12 people,
All from the Bronx.
all from the Bronx. Yeah, my friends.
Good. You didn't carry any weapons or anything
No,
like
of
that,
course
did you?
not. Not in those days. No, we
No,
didn't.
no.
That was a no-no.
No. Well, anyway, so that was great. And you went up on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And no problems. When did you finally start to realize, hey, look at all this traffic, look at all these people? When did you start
we
to say, hey,
we were getting
something's wrong?
reports on the radio. Some people had transistor radios, because you had no idea of how many people were there
Yeah.
when you were in it. You said 100,000, but there was actually 500,000 people there.
Yeah.
So we were getting reports on the radio of the amount of people and the amount of
And they came in those
things that we
those-
needed.
They came up with those homemade buses, all flower power.
Yeah.
I mean, one after another.
Yeah, it was amazing. And people came from all over the country, from Boston and Chicago and San Francisco and
Yeah, I had a cousin from Florida come up.
yeah,
and
Florida,
he's-
Texas,
and,
Arkansas, you name it.
He
People-
stopped by the house, and I mean, and he was full geared hippie, and that's when I realized, hey, this is going to be something more than like
This is
going
gonna
to
be
a
big.
concert. Yeah, and of course, then you've seen a little bit of it on the TV, and then you realize what it was all about. And then I said, oh, when I came back from the Atlantic City deal, and said, wow, what happened up there in
yeah, it was
Woodstock?
just an amazing event.
Amazing
Well,
event.
once
That's right.
once in a lifetime. I mean, we tried to do other things, the 25th reunion, but it was nothing like that. And then this year they tried the 50th, and that just
Now
didn't
you
happen
mentioned
at all.
how there was, you never seen any problems there with all
I never
the
seen
1,000 people.
anybody not even getting into an argument.
And then some of these other states, and they tried to copy the concerts. And you remember this concert with the Rolling Stones?
Sure.
When there was problems.
Concert in Altamont, California.
And you
Somebody
think they
got
would have
killed
learned
there.
from the
Somebody got
Woodstock.
killed.
Yeah, right. And,
Hell's Angels were they're protecting the Stones.
Yeah. But so all right. So one quick question.
Yes.
If I say Woodstock to you, what do you think of?
Oh my God, 50 years ago.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Well, anyway, Al, thank you very much.
My pleasure, Dennis. It was
experience and,
wonderful to
telling us
share
about
all
the
these
experience of
stories.
Woodstock. And, well, great time, great music. Anyway, I want to thank the BronxNet staff and our producers, Al Balfieri, Tyrone Burkle, Vic Sabatini, Just Nuts Music School, and on Tremont Avenue in the Bronx. You want to learn an instrument, bring your kids. And don't forget my radio shows every Saturday, Sunday morning on WVOX playing the oldies. I have a website, clubdennis911.net. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's show. As we go out, God bless you. God bless the USA. And I look forward to another. This help me out, brother.
This is rock and roll.
Good night, everyone. Peace, love, and music.
And music.
I see those moves you're making. I'm here to let you know, baby, cause I'm the one. So my name is Vic and I'm really slick, and I go through my reels and I do them really quick. When I'm on the job, putting on the show, cause I'm looking mold out like another Rambo.
Hey Al, I got an idea.